Hello everyone, my name is Mason. I'll be presenting today and giving some recommendations of improvement, how to improve the overall program on Slack. For anybody who didn't get the chance to watch my last presentation or hear about what Slack is a communication, a cloud-based collaboration platform. One of its main areas, one of the areas in which it excels is through its integration. So working with different companies and different platforms on messaging, on file sharing, on its different app connections is one of the biggest benefits to using Slack in the workplace. The overall purpose of Slack I would describe as to improve communication and help streamline processes throughout an organization. So it helps centralize everything. A lot of us with our military backgrounds have used Microsoft Teams or some iteration of an instant messaging type of platform. That's what Slack is, and that's how Slack is beneficial to different organizations. One of the major benefits to Slack is its seamless file sharing programs and file sharing um, capabilities. With those capabilities, you're able to reduce email dependency, helps keep everything aligned within a team. So going over real quick, it's different networking components. It's a cloud-based system, so much like our various mobile apps and different messaging platforms, everything is done via the cloud. It's available on over the web, so Google Chrome, Microsoft Edge, platforms like that. I've got it downloaded to my desktop as well as downloaded on my phone, so it's got mobile apps that you can use as well. Does require the internet, so unlike a couple other systems where you're able to work offline, that's one of the drawbacks of Slack is right now there's no ability to work offline. So that's one of the recommendations I posted on a discussion board a couple weeks ago was that would be one thing that I would change about it. And then lastly here, it integrates with APIs for working with third parties. So as we move on, we'll see the communications components. Like I said in the beginning here, that's what Slack is all about, is seamless communication. So working within a team through real-time messaging. So direct messages is a big thing. I know through my work, Microsoft Teams, that's been something super important, is having that direct messaging capability within our teams. And so Slack really excels at that. It's got various different things that you can do where you can establish channels, you can go into different breakout rooms, I guess you could call them, to message teams directly. You can set up different channels that are team specific. So if you have a team that's working on programming, or you have a team that's working on building the back end of some systems, you can break them all into teams and take care of business that way. Another one of its great benefits is audio and video conferencing options. These are slightly limited compared to other platforms, but you're still able to bring the whole team together and have almost like a Zoom type of conference with everybody. And then I've touched on it a little bit here. The file and media sharing capabilities of Slack are second to none in my opinion. They are absolutely excellent. Whereas platforms like Teams, you have to, I know at least for using it at work, it can get a little bit tricky going in, downloading something off of Teams, making adjustments, uploading it back on. There are a couple ways, of course, to get around that, but with file sharing through Slack, it cuts down so much on email notifications and email dependency, and helps keep everything uncluttered and everything clean and nice and organized. Then as far as notifications and everything, it has a built-in calendar, so it's able to integrate with different scheduling things as well. So using Slack to take care of business planning, meetings and whatnot can all be done there on Slack. Slack secures data through encryption, multi-factor authentication, and compliance certifications. I know in a tech-heavy age that we're living in now, having that beefy security goes a long way. So Slack takes care of business on that end with multi-factor authentication and different single sign-on options. That end-to-end encryption is huge. I know living overseas using WhatsApp has been something that I've done a lot recently, and that WhatsApp is pretty famous for not being super end-to-end encrypted, and so having a system like Slack has been super helpful. Now, to touch a bit on its impact on organizations and users, I've been making some comparisons throughout this whole thing, but Slack really stands heads and shoulders above these different entities when it comes to its impact on organizations and users. So, first, it enhances communication, helps reduce our dependency upon email. Waiting for these replies that might take a good long while to get back. Whereas you can shoot a message to somebody and get a direct message back. It helps to promote collaboration across distributed teams, so it helps in those different channels, and I'll show you a screenshot here in a minute of what those channels might look like. But it promotes collaboration across those different things. You can jump from channel to channel and keep everything flowing in the workplace. Now, it's got centralized information that's for ease of access and easier knowledge sharing. And then one slight drawback, I guess you could even call it a drawback, is it might increase distractions in the workplace if someone's constantly on Slack and is direct messaging their friends, sort of thing. I know I've caught myself doing that on Teams at work a couple times, so it is a real thing. Now, to touch a bit more on its competitive analysis, it competes directly with Microsoft Teams, Zoom, and even Google Chat. I think the Google Chat is a bit of a newer thing with Google. I hadn't heard of it before doing the research for this project, but as far as strengths go, it's intuitive design. It's got a unique looking user interface, which is really awesome, and then it's robust integrations. That's really something that's key with this system, is how smoothly it integrates with different platforms. A couple of the weaknesses I mentioned earlier, it's limited native video conferencing, and it does cost a bit more than Microsoft Teams and Zoom, for example, especially for larger organizations. And then lastly here is competitive advantage. It's flexible and it's got a wide range of third-party support. All right, the first recommendation I have to improve Slack would be to improve its search functionality. I know as I'm going through Slack, I'm looking for different things, or I've got a purpose in being there and I'd like to get in and out as quick as I can. So being able to filter stuff by date, the type of file that I'm looking for, or even by channel would go a long way in making Slack more user-friendly. Now, looking at this screenshot here, and my second recommendation would be to update its user interface. So you can see in the screenshot here the different channels I've got. Thankfully, I don't have too many, but imagine that entire side filled with channels. If you're able to customize and group channels into different folders, that would greatly reduce clutter and improve the overall look and feel. It can get a little overwhelming when everything is laid out, when you have hundreds of channels on there. Imagine a big organization with all their different teams. Being able to, as a manager, go in and group the channels into different teams or into different smaller organizations would be an amazing boon to bring to the user interface. And then lastly here, my third recommendation would be to build in some sort of task management system. It would help streamline workflows without the need for using third-party apps. Slack, as it stands now, does rely on external integrations for its task management. All right, and then just wrapping up here, these are a couple of the references I use. So relying heavily on Slack, the system to teach me a lot about itself, and then this article from TechRadar on Microsoft Teams versus Slack, just going into that competitive analysis of it. But I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Feel free to reach out with any questions, and looking forward to closing out the class with y'all. Thank you.